Welcome to another all-inspiring, educational, fun, and just all-around good times show, Gem Collectors with Shawn. I am Shawn, and 11 years old, I got into this as a hobby, and it feels like every day I still do my hobby. There's never been a day that it's ever felt like a job. And I'm talking about through, complete learning, education, sharing, cabochoning, faceting, into silversmithing, goldsmithing, then into carving my own waxes, lost wax casting. I kept progressing and branching out into every little niche of this industry. So it led to owning two independently at different times retail jewelry stores that both I have sold and are in business to this day. So there's a little bit of legacy I get to leave behind if I want to say I left this world in a better place. No, I left this world with amazing outlets to be able to either sell your items, which was one business, which you hear me refer to as my buying office, or the other was, the outlet to be able to please and inspire all of those wonderful, wonderful couples that I helped get through the engagement process and on. And, with my son being in mid-30s, when he was going to North Georgia military, it's North Georgia College, and it's a military academy, and he was a fraternity brother. And boy, there was a period of time within a few years that all of a sudden his dad, me, I was a lot more cool than I was because, my son, Rocks and Minerals, never was going to be his thing. And so we didn't really connect on that level at all. We did, of course, on a lot of other fun levels, but certainly not on that one. And I, of course, would have loved to have had a prodigy that could have started much younger than even me, right? Didn't work out that way. But I tell you what, I'll never forget the day. I guess it was his first present to his first girlfriend. Maybe he was 14 or so. And when he realized that he didn't really have to go shopping at the mall and pay some ridiculous price, that he could just go say, "Hey, Pops, what you got?" And, he knew also that I wouldn't charge him. But when he saw the convenience and all of a sudden, I became a little more useful, a little more cool. But when he was in college, that's when it hit the big time. And so there was a run there for a long time. I mean, dozens of his friends, fraternity brothers. I mean, they fell quickly when they started getting engaged. And when all of them were, they'd meet with me. Some I'd give private appointments to at the time because where I lived, of course, up in North Georgia, it wasn't far away from where they were. So they would come away and they would say to my son, they would say, "Wow, you have the coolest hippie dad." And it's funny because their impression of me was nothing like my son's impression of me. And his friends actually saw a side of me that was transparent and real that my son never did. Probably put me on a pedestal a little bit too high there. But his friends, not having that father-son relationship, could call it like it is, and they did. So, but of course, the best of the old hippies are still one of the coolest things. And which brings me to one more little tale before we get started, because there's a lot I want to do. Let me tell you, okay, because last week when I came into this show, it could have gone really badly. I had this sense that I was going to be pulled over after Raven and I stopped at this little store to get some snacks on the way in. And it was the oddest thing because I pulled out of that little convenience store and I was pulled over. for, quote, a cracked windshield. Of course, you know, I've got the four-wheel drive pickup truck. I get in the mountains, you know. It's just one of those things. Why replace a windshield when you keep cracking them? And there's a Vulcan quarry out there, I think I might have mentioned it before, that I'd love to get in on. And so I told him and reminded him, you know, that, hey, you know, there's a quarry out the road we live off of, and the windshields, you know, rocks coming out of there break all the time. He actually took our driver's license, and he came back right away, and he said, you know, well, what about those murder charges on there? And you know, I laughed, because right then I knew, okay, that's it. He's not going to give me a hard time about anything else, and he laughed. And then he said to me, he goes, by the way, he goes, you wear that long hair really well. And so I said, well, at 62 years old, I am just happy to have it. And he had to have been younger than my son. And, you know, it was just kind of funny because to him, and an old pickup truck with a cracked windshield from a rural county in Georgia, there sure could have been some stereotyping and, you know, getting pulled over for what I look like. But, you know, a few words straightened all that up and alleviated his fear, and I went on my way. But all you had to do was look in the bed of my truck, and you could see that, because I actually told him where you know, not to give the place a bad name here, but where I was working, because, you know, they always ask where he had it. I said, oh, and that's the other thing. I said, I have a 70-mile round trip to work. I said, there's a lot of rocks along the way. And if you look in the bed of my truck, I mean, if you really knew what you were looking for in the bed of my truck, you could go rock hunting. I mean, there is some good stuff, which reminds me, I'm going to show you that garnet. I am not going to forget. I got to show you that garnet. All right, let's get down to business. I have lots to do. I have always fun, true life tales I could tell you. And I was actually thinking about some the other day. You know, some my son has never even heard of. You know, it's not as exciting to tell someone that's not in the rock and mineral business when you're exploring a old mine shaft or something like that. You know, it's like, oh, you know. But to you guys, you would like a lot better. All right, so we had a couple of trivia questions last week. Those questions were, what for is, speaking of prospecting and getting out there and digging some rocks, what for essential, inexpensive, now that's also a key, tools do I use to make it harder to buy something that is misrepresented? I know that maybe sounded a little twisted around there, but pretty much the way I wanted it to read and wanted it to work. You know, because I didn't want you to think, well, you need a Geiger counter. No, you don't need a Geiger counter. You want to be as inobtrusive as possible. So, you know, these are always with me, and if I look like a geek with a pocket protector, I tell you what, there's sometimes I could have used a pocket protector. Mostly more of a phone protector, because I am famous for scratching the face of my phone, as around here they can easily tell. So here we go. Here is the key to my pocket. These three tools, and this goes in it. So we have, and of course a loop will work fine, 10 power loop, even some kind of magnification, a magnifying glass if need be, but nothing is not as helpful as having some type of magnification. So magnification, ultraviolet pen light, a pen flashlight. Now, it doesn't have to be this expensive one that is actually has the Kelvin or the same temperature of light tone as the southern United States. Yes, I'm a geek. But the key to it is not to have one of these new modern xenon bulbs, LED bulbs, all of those bulbs. No. Basically the old-fashioned yellow light with the filament across it, that type of bulb. But they're hard to find. They have them in the old little mag lights, and they have those replacement bulbs, and they're in these little pull-out drawer cabinets in the because I have an account with them, in the battery store. What is it? Batteries and bulbs or something like that chain that they have. You just have to ask, and little tip there, because that's how I had to find them out. And one of the other things that I also carry, if I have room in my pocket, is a secondary flashlight. Not only do I like multiple, just in case there's like, I come across, and I do, everything from crawling in a coyote den when I'm out in the woods to being in a darker spot where I can actually use 2 different wavelengths of light to check for, or in case one light goes dead, but for check for color change. So I actually add a secondary flashlight for multiple reasons when that's possible. So, and a magnet. And a magnet, of course, you know how much I believe in using magnets for all kinds of stuff. You can just drag one of those rare earth element neodymium magnets through the gravel, and believe me, it will pull in anything magnetic, which doesn't always mean a ferrous magnetic. Remember, you can have manganese, divalent manganese, that can be magnetic. So those are the keys. So anyway, those are the 4 items I was looking for, and then the second question was, lepidocrosite is a polymorph of what other mineral? And this is important to know, and so that you understand that these quartz crystals that are included, when they say lepidocrosite, and if they're little platelets, hematite, that makes it easy for you. If they're red and little dots, they're hematite, that makes it easy for you. If they're red and they're striated, it's hematite, that makes it easy for you. Get the idea here? Pretty much 99% of when you have something that's going to be listed as lepidocrosite in quartz, it's not. It's going to be hematite. It just sounds really good to be lepidocrosite, doesn't it? They'd be more accurate if they would actually write, goethite. You'd have a higher degree of being correct, because that's a more common inclusion than true lepidocrosite. Okay, so that was the question number 2. Now, let's get to comments. And so many of you really do love this part of the show for the comments. And so all of you, don't feel like you have to answer a trivia question to comment. The comment part was set up as part of this show as a learning tool, which is exactly what all of you and myself have used it for. We've covered areas that would never get covered by doing so, and you're going to find that out. Just like last week in finding out about the lutetium garnets. I bet that was new to a lot of people, and that came out of a conversation. So, now, let me see. Ready, set, here we go. All right. Oh, look who has joined us from the very first comment. Miss Gabby in Florida. Miss Gabby, we only get to hear from Miss Gabby once every few weeks or a month. A great big hello to my fellow rockhounds, everyone. Shawn, it was so nice to see you back. Bright-eyed and fuzzy-tailed. Really love all the crystal mineral pendants you've been showing. That was really good to hear that. That's really good to hear that, because I wasn't sure if anyone was enjoying those. And of course, the best sign, you might love to look, but are they being sold? And I think they have. I was able to get the parrot wing chrysocolla and the thulite. Great rare choices there. Thulite. Now, just to remind everybody, so you can know what we're talking about as we talk about it. Thulite, and for those of you who haven't joined us this week, make sure you don't miss the show last week. Thulite is a word that is used for zoisite that is in the pinkish color range. And if you remember zoisite, you have your rubian zoisite. That zoisite is green. You also have a very famous zoisite that is in the bluish purple range, tanzanite. So that is a zoisite as well. And the pink zoisite was given the name thulite. Thul, of course, being an ancient name for what is now Scandinavia, and also a legendary island. Now, it's more properly called now and here's the difference. I could say it's properly called a manganean zoisite or a manganoan zoisite. Let's read on to see which one it is. Thulite has been on my list for a while, but the only ones I've seen stated that they had been stabilized and they were a much more red color than what I would think completely natural thulite would be. Does stabilization usually change the color of a mineral? I didn't think it was supposed to. Because you were so impressed at how they were able to drill that piece all the way through without it breaking, I was going to ask you if you thought that piece was stabilized. But then I thought, I'm dealing with Shawn, so I better not go there. LOL. From my also slightly declining memory, my trivia answers are magnet, UV light, daylight, equivalent flashlight, loop, and goethite. You're correct. I noticed your pendant before you brought it up, and several minerals came to mind. Remember, that was the extra credit, and I'm going to show you that. I actually brought it again this week because I thought, wow, wouldn't that go well with my shirt? So I had to ask the Raven if I could have her pendant back again. But does it count if I did get it for her and she had no idea what it even was prior to that? But she really liked it and she had good taste. Let's see. So even though I didn't get a good look at it, I'm just gonna throw. And you know, when you're just gonna throw a answer out there, it's an answer. It's not a guess because you're using again all your accumulated knowledge that you have, and no matter at what level of knowledge that is, it doesn't make it a guess. A guess is when you have no concept, and then it's a true guess. Like it is absolutely nowhere within your realm of having any information stored anywhere to be able to answer something. You know, I was trying to think of something comparable of a subject I could relate it to, but I know a little something about a lot of stuff, so I can't figure that out right away. But anyway, so therefore, all of you have some knowledge about these questions I ask. And so therefore, all of your answers that you give me back are not guesses, they're answers. Maybe wrong answers to whatever degree, but they are definitely not guesses. So I like to see that word not used, and you didn't. So I'm just going to throw lepidolite out there. Lepidolite, and what a great answer. Lepidolite, it could have been in the realm of lepidolite for many different reasons. But in this case, it's not. So I will go. We'll go to that and show you and talk about what that is here in shortly. Let's see. Be well, everyone. Love, Miss Gabby. All right. Now, so the thing with thulite is the color is most commonly attributed to manganean zoisite. In other words, the chemical composition of zoisite, normal zoisite, except with manganese in it. Now, most commonly, what you hear is manganoan, like in so many different manganese minerals, or minerals that have manganese instead of another, element, or it's a substitution element. Because the most common is divalent manganese. So that is called manganoan. And what we mean by divalent, di as in dipyramidal, which could be swapped with bipyramidal. So we're talking about two. So when we say divalent, in other words, basically it is when you see Mn2+. In the case of thulite, we're talking about Mn3+, which makes it manganean. Now, we won't get any further than that, but just in case you see that used, it's not a typo, not someone misspelling that part of it. There is a distinct difference between whether it's manganean or manganoan, and that's what the part that I wanted you to know. Okay. I wish I had that thulite piece back so we could look at it personally. All right. And if you remember when I was talking about it, I said the same thing about the variscite. When I talked about drilling that extended hole, how did they do that without shattering the piece? And I said it would be difficult to do if we were talking about even a very dense, I might even said Botswana agate, which is one of the hardest agates that there is, to drill it all the way through without the material splitting. That's why I said maybe they drilled the hole and cut it down around it, which is one of the ways that they can do that. So that was what the reference was to the difficulty of drilling the hole straight. Now I have a jig, let's say, for drilling the hole through a pearl concentrically through the center. You don't know how many times when I used to try to hand drill them, and you think you have it perfectly lined up through the middle from one end to the other, and so all you have to do is put it on a wire and then spin the pearl, and when you see the pearl go whoppity whoppity whop, then you know you didn't drill it through the middle correctly, or you can put a thing there wrong. Anyway, many ways to tell that you got it wrong. It's just when you start off at the beginning, especially the longer it goes, and you're just a fraction of a degree off. By the time you travel an inch and a half in length, that fraction of a degree at the beginning becomes greater and greater the further you go. So you can just drill right out the side of it. So many things go. And it's easily split, just like zoisite in itself, in its crystalline form, not its massive form. And in its crystalline form, as in tanzanite, it can easily be split. But here's the difference. All right, so thulite, pink zoisite, is most often found in a granular composition. In other words, not like tanzanite. It's in a much more granular composition. And if you can picture then the ruby in green zoisite, and if you can picture the polish on the surface of that material, you'll remember that it can have some uneven areas that in the polish, it doesn't look, let's say, look like a glass finish to the top of a piece of agate, where there's no imperfections or anything on it. Now, thulite, the way it's found, especially in the North Carolina material, it is often found associated with feldspar and with silicas, quartz. And so you get this composition. And having those two other actually helps cement the material together. So when that cabochon says thulite, but the really true part of the thulite is going to be mostly your pink and maybe some of your creams or yellows, just kind of depending. That may go into the feldspar end of it. As far as the drilling goes, my reference to that was not in having anything to do with stabilization, because whether it was been stabilized or not, which this isn't, but we'll get to that in a minute, what we're talking about, it would help a little maybe in preventing it from splitting, but overall it's not going to give it that much additional strength. If it's going to split, it's going to split because you drilled it off to the side, because there's going to be one of many other different type of inclusions that may be in it, all these other things. And depending on the size of the hole you drill, you can go right down through that thing like butter if you are only drilling a millimeter and a half size hole. But some of these are like 2 millimeters, 2.5 millimeter size holes, and that's a whole nother ball game. Now, they do treat and stabilize the Norwegian material. I find it to be very, well, it's almost hard not to find, unless it's a mineral specimen, not to find an untreated thulite cabochon. And here's the thing. In ruby and sapphire corundum, we know that heat treating does improve color. And it improves it by improving the clarity. Improve the clarity, it will change the color just through that aspect alone. It will also improve the color through the chemical reaction, the chemical change that the heat does to a particular material. So how I can describe it best is like when you see me take a material, like let's just say any slab, and like in so many rock shops, especially back in my day when I worked at a rock shop as a kid, oh my gosh, the number of people that would just take a slab and lick it to get it wet. And yeah, I don't think you probably see that as often anymore. But the difference between what we call the wet look and not, that's more so what some of the stabilization is doing if it's not supposed to change the color. Then all it's doing is giving it more of a wet look, which does change the color through doing that. And stabilizing something can't help but to, in some way, affect color. It's just going to do it. And in the case of the Norwegian material, I see it, if anything, it tends to be darker. It takes it from what's supposed to be more of a pink into a pinkish red, even more so of a red. And, you know, therefore, you know, I don't know, I'd rather get it out of the ground the way it is and spray it with my fake stuff than to have a stabilized material. So, no, it's not going to be stabilized, or I would have said it's stabilized material. It's just some classic material that has silica and feldspar components that fill in those more microscopic areas. And by doing that, it gives it the strength needed to be able to drill it. It's not, of course, just thulite. There is other minerals, as almost all thulite is associated with. So, okay, that's probably more than you need to know about thulite. Now, let's go to Miss Cindy. Says, enjoyed the show so much, Shawn. I think your pendant is sugilite. All right, that is also a very, very good answer. A magnet, a long pen, white line. Okay, yep, you got all the answers correct on the trivia, so well done there. And very good answer as to what the pendant could be. It's a little bit out of the color range, but not totally out of that, out of the realm. Mr. Jimbo in Delaware. Jimbo says, hello, Shawn and all. Another show to view with great pleasure. Always enjoy you reading the comments from the Rockhound family. I think everybody does. I think everybody enjoys the comments as much as, again, it's a great, useful tool, and it keeps us together as a family. And again, if I didn't complete my thought earlier, it was you don't have to have anything to do with answering the trivia to be able to leave a comment. Leave a comment, anything you want within the, within our conversations and topics, and we'll talk about it. Jimbo getting all the answers right on trivia. Best to all, Jimbo in Delaware. Miss Cindy, I forgot. She says, are you following the Icelandic volcanic event? I'm fascinated by it. Watching a geologist now explain the tectonic plates and volcano fields right now. Yes, Miss Cindy, I am a volcano nut as much as I can be, living in the North American eastern side of North America. But as soon as I could, I was there. 1983 of May. Mount St. Helens blew up March of 1980, just over 3 years later. I was standing as far up to the blown crater as I could. And for a rock hound, you can imagine, there was geology all around me. I was going crazy. And I've never seen so much free pumice in my life. You know, you read about it, talk about it, you see it, you see other people have it, it's like, oh yeah. But when you see it in, feet deep, just for miles on end. The trees, of course, were still all just leveled down. You could just, the energy from Mother Earth was phenomenal just to see how powerful and what a volcano is. So what did I have to do? And of course, this was Colin's mom who I went out there with, and she, of course, is new to my passion of rock hunting and laughing at me because I had a box of pumice, and send it back, ship it back because we were flying back. So I posted back a box of pumice. I have it in that original box still to this day. And I don't know, maybe I'll give away some of my hard fought and very historic pumice. So, speaking of, yes, the Icelandic, from the Ring of Fire around the Pacific to the Icelandic volcanic eruptions, I follow and love to read all about them. I love plate tectonics, and I like to see that, it's taken some time, but how the world has accepted that to be a fact. And, of course, going on in Iceland, you have two things. You have the hot spot. A hot spot is like what's going on in Hawaii, where the plate passes over the hot spot, and that's why you see this chain of islands in a particular direction. And so two things are happening. Iceland has a hot spot, and you also have the two plates contacting each other. And, in the case of, like, let's say the Himalaya Mountains, that is where you have a continent to continent collision. So you have the Eurasian continent colliding with the Indian subcontinent, and by every day, those contacting each other, what happens? Someone told me once to take two pieces of paper and push them together, and of course, what does it do? It folds them right up. Everest rises every year. Then you have the subduction formation, which is where one continent slides underneath another, and as that continent slides into that hot magma, basically that continent is melting as it goes under. That creates another whole type of volcano and earthquakes. And then you have the California, very famous, of course, San Andreas fault line, which is not pulling apart, not coming together, but sliding. And so that is another type of plate tectonics. But there's active geology going on right now all around the world, and I'd love to see it. Mr. Anthony in Massachusetts, hello all. Don't know if this will make it in time. Crazy few days here. I always notice your jewelry, and my first thought regarding the pendant was dino bone, but the subject was on Chrysocolla, and Sonora Sunset. So I'm going with Cooperite. I have a note right there where I wrote, great answer. It's not correct, but as far as tying in what we were looking at and talking about to what it could be, Cooperite was a super answer there indeed. Got all the questions right for the trivia, and so we were talking about it, but the pendant was the extra credit one. Miss Barbara in Brooklyn. Hi, Professor Raven, GSN crew, and the whole Rock family. Lively show. Great to have you all chipper and back on your game. That iron ring was a shocker, the magnetic one. Well, coming from the folks who take lead out of kids' toys only to substitute it with cadmium. Yikes. Anything is possible. Never thought to use a magnet on a silver ring. Great for sussing out cheap chains, though. As you think of rule number 1, buyer beware, also add rule number 2, consider the source. And couldn't be better said. This industry is still governed by a handshake across the counter or over the phone. Doesn't even have to be in person. When you do a deal, it's done. And it still operates that way. So that's because you have, maybe your parents even did business with these particular vendors. You have generational relationships. Or maybe you have relationships you only established, but you have been, right on with paying back a vendor on, when it gives you the terms and everything going great. And it works very much in a trust type of relationship. So know your sources is really, 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 really important. And it can make all the difference in the world whether you get a good deal, a bad deal, or ripped off altogether. Let's see, Miss Barber getting all the answers right. Now, to your pendant. You were talking about gem silica, Elot stone, and Sonora Sunset when you thought to ask us about the pendant. So I thought of a red-orange Cooperite from the Sonora. But on further consideration of the pinkish tinge, I choose to pick a dark Norwegian thulite. Very good on that answer. Very good on that answer. Be well all, Miss Barbara from Brooklyn. Barbara then continues to think. She says, okay, my mind says goethite, and this is going back to the question about lepidocrocite is a polymorph of what other mineral? She says, okay, my mind says goethite, but my notes say hematite. So hematite it is. All right, so we'll get to where about the hematite here in a moment and why you wrote hematite. Mr. Charles in Oregon says, ciao, fellow rockhounds. I wanted to mention it's awesome that you had a 240Z, Shawn. And that's a car, folks, by the way. A 1973 240Z. The last year they made it. Oh, foolish. But I wanted to have, a little sports car. And, but when I got to East Tennessee, I found that a little sports car was not what I wanted anymore. It didn't get me the girls because I wasn't in the clique being having moved in my senior year, but what it did get me was out prospecting. I traded in for a Jeep, and I got $3,000 more than what I paid for it 2-3 years later, and now that car's worth like a lot. I had a what a beautiful car. I had a 1975 Celica. I know that car too, and I loved the Celica in those early years. Similar story to your 240. It became incompatible with my lifestyle after a time. While owning my Celica, I know, so did my 240Z. It wouldn't go up the four-wheel drive paths to get to where my rock hunting sites were. While owning my Celica, I learned a lot about working on cars. I eventually sold it, but now my wife and I have 2 older Toyota pickups and a 4Runner with the same little 4-cylinder the Celica did. So simple and so good. Absolutely. I had, not the 240Z, but I had a Jeep. Then I went to a friend's Nissan 4x4 King Cab. And then the only new car I've ever owned to this day. And this was right after I got married. My son's mom went out and just bought it. Traded in, not outright bought it. 1986 Nissan 4x4 King Cab. She knew I had to have a 4x4, rock count and all. And the King Cab part. 1986. I drove that vehicle 275,000 miles. My son couldn't really fathom that at the age that he was, how many miles, until I told him it would be like driving around the equator, the circumference of the earth, 11 times. That made an impression on him for just how many miles that was. That little aluminum block engine, 4-cylinder, would go and go and go. And when I sold it, I still got a lot of money because the air conditioner work and the 4-wheel drive work. That's all it takes here in the South to still get a lot of money. Miles didn't matter, not on those vehicles. And the Celica, I really like the Celica, so good story there. My trivia prize arrived in the mail today. That is a big chunk of rutilated quartz I won. I missed out on a chance to buy some rough at our local Rockhound meeting and been thinking about it ever since. Thank you so much. It will make some beautiful gems. Lastly, yes, the opal I found, remember, Charles is the one that found the agate in the gravel and opal. And so I told him to check the opal for fluorescence. Then if it does fluoresce, there's a good chance it might be hyalite with urinal ions. In other words, uranium oxide, creating the color, hence creating and you could verify it by, he says, lastly, yes, the opal I found does fluoresce under black light. I will bring it to the next Rockland meeting to see if I can find someone with a Geiger counter. No trivia answers from me this week. Best wishes, everyone, with love, Charles. Love back at you, Charles, and do that. And I'll bet that there is some degree of radiation to it, some reaction that you'll get. And so keep us updated on that. And I'm jealous. You found some neat stuff there, just like I found the pink moonstones in the gravel as well. So, all right, now let me see. Did we cover everything except a couple of things? The answer and my pendant, which we'll get to in a moment, and also regarding Barbara and the hematite. So let's do that. Regarding the lepidocrosite versus goethite, and then why you thought that it might be, answer might be hematite, was because we were talking about hematite, but we were talking about hematite in relationship to the chemical composition of hematite is Fe2O3. And I said, if that sounds familiar, like Al2O3, it's because it is familiar. You only swapped out the first element, or the first metal, because with aluminum, it turns it into ruby and sapphire, corundum, Al2O3, hematite, Fe2O3. So you had hematite on the brain and associated it with this answer as opposed to the other. So well done, everybody, on those. Now, I'm going to show you what the extra credit answer is in a moment, and we'll talk about that in just a second. But first, we are going to announce the winner this week. And I tell you what, it is magical because the winner this week is Miss Gabby. And Miss Gabby, I think this is going to cause some trivia envy. Look at this. This is one of the incredible, probably the thinnest cut piece of chunky gal, because again, see how many different minerals you have in this, but it can still be strong enough that I can slice it through that much distance, that thin. See that 1.1 millimeters. A 1-point diamond is 1.3 millimeters. So that is extremely thin, and none of it fell apart or broke apart. So it all has to do with the kind of other elements combining together. Now, smaragdite, for the word smaragdos, meaning emerald, relating to the color that smaragdite is. Smaragdite, the green, is a type of actinolite. Here is the amazing thing about this particular piece. There are over, I think, was it 70? I forget how many rubies are in this, but all you have to do is go in the closet, turn on the black light, and see. Or let me do this. Let me backlight this. This is stunning. Look at this. There we go, Dave. Great job. Look at all the rubies, and they are everywhere once you start looking at them. And there are many that are really small that you don't see until you're in a dark room, and then they really stand out. But this, I know John can easily drill it for you. I would be happy to if you wanted to make it into something. And we have one that hangs right in the kitchen window. And so this is actually, I did a good job on the my spray polish on this, because it's nice and even on both sides. Normally I don't do that well. You'll also find that there's going to be some of these little black spots are spinels that are found. And then look at this grouping, like right in here. This is where the number of rubies really start adding up. Look at them all. Look at them all. And once you start noticing them, they are everywhere. This was, I wanted to give, going into the holidays, something special in this show, and that is certainly something special. So, well done there, Miss Gabby. All right, let me tuck that up safely, and we've got a great show coming your way. Okay, so this was the extra credit. A couple of you had some excellent answers to this. I thought you'd give you a little bit closer look, so in your mind you can try to answer it one more time by looking at it. If I said that this was from the Kola Peninsula in Siberia, would that help you any? It should nail it for you. This is the actually rare silicate. Cuts beautiful material, but seldom you ever see this much red in it. So this is it can be pronounced a couple of different ways, but Mindat uses eudialyte. When you go to Google the pronunciation, other speakers pronounce it eudialyte. So I'll go with eudialyte. Either way, it is a Greek word meaning easily decomposed. In other words, acids attack it readily. But this color, wow, that's beautiful. That's a beautiful color. This is, the more that crimson kind of red you can have, the better. So, really great item. Don't have anything like that for sale, but if she changes her mind and ever wants to sell it, I will certainly put that right up. Okay, let's get going on some items that you can buy. And let's make it easy. We're going to go fast. I've got a lot of new items in throughout, so keep up with me. I want to get to a lot of different items. So let's look at, to start with, 1099,723. 1099,723. This is something that you don't see every day, but is extremely educational for those of you that just haven't seen natural. Look at this, nephrite. And a lot of nephrite is alluvial. In other words, brought and water worn down with water as the reactive agent. But look at the quality on some of this material. And this is Alaskan, wonderful Alaskan. And look at the gemminess to this. Okay, so it's very similar overall to the British Columbian material. And I'm real familiar with that, as you know. You can see you have, look at all these pieces. Everyone will cut or carve or just leave them like they are. The polish on these is often the polish that a natural water-worn piece of jade will actually come up to that high of a polish. Because think about it, this is usually around a hardness 6, 6.5. A lot, of course, your sand gravels are quartzes, which are 7. So it's just enough that with time you can get that type of finish. So this is the only offering I'm going to do. The 6 pieces on this and the entire batch. Someone's going to love it. Someone's going to love it because I am offering that entire batch of them. Let me get this up for only, just kind of hard to imagine that I'm letting it go that low, but that's what it says. So let's go ahead and do it. We have, what is it? Okay, yep, $21. $21. That is a sale price indeed. Sale price indeed on that. All right, now, next. Oh, I have some here. This was a shocker to see that maybe you hadn't even seen it. Maybe you haven't. So, 113-8523. 113-8523. To see that this didn't sell. I don't, out of all the still bites and all the zeolites I have, I don't have any that are this flamboyant. Look at that. Look at that. World class. This is the formation you want to see in a still bite. When it's just a single plume, however you want to call it. But what a spray. What a crystalline spray of still bite. World class specimen for that. For the aesthetics of it. Then you also selenite. That's the green. Look at how it's almost like a moss agate. Some of the formation of it. Now, something I didn't look close enough is this other green, this brighter green. I am going to take it as being selenite as well. But it's nice to see some larger, almost crystalline areas of it. So anyway, that is supposed to be the back, but that's awfully pretty. So you have still bite on still bite here. This is a world-class specimen. And, you know, for what I was asking for this, it's hard to come off of the $98. So here, $88 just because I said it was, you know, I would sell it for less than I offered it before. I didn't say specifically, but in general, that's what I do. The only time, like on that amazing, amazing, big, beautiful pre-night gyrolite, basalt, multi-cavity calcite. Oh, stunning piece. If you missed last week's show, you have to see it for that specimen alone. It was $1,488. I think it's still available. So if you were trying to make up your mind, you can still grab it as yours as far as I know. And on that particular one, I said that the price would never be lower than what it is. And unless there's some reason for me to make it lower, I don't know what that would be, that it's going to stay because the value is there and well beyond. That is a one-of-a-kind piece. So if you missed that piece last week, it is worth going back and seeing that show just for that piece. All right, so $88. Look at that. That is what's considered a small cabinet specimen. And to get that kind of look for that little bit of money, you, well, the deal is just waiting on you to make it yours. Now, let me just borrow your ears, close your ears so I can put these wonderfully sounding rocks. You know, there's nothing wrong with the sound of a rock sliding in a bag with other rocks. So unmistakable. And that is, to us rockhounds, a joyful noise. A joyful noise. Now, next. Ooh, okay. Look at this. 114-3523. 114-3523. Now, Miss Gabby said she was enjoying seeing the cabochons and the pendants. Well, I only have one of these, Miss Gabby, and you can make it yours because this is a made in America item. Hold on one second. Let me get a appropriate stand. Not that you get the stand, of course, but not at these prices. Are you kidding? I just want to make sure it displays nicely for you. How's that? Okay, now remove this and take a look at this. All right, now Amazonite is a greenish, green-blue potassium feldspar, and it was named after still an unknown locality that was near the Amazon River. If you hear it pronounced Amazonite or anything like that, that's that's not the correct pronunciation. You just go with Amazon as an Amazon River, add ite to it, so Amazonite. So, and if you want to speed that up, Southern style, Amazonite. All right, now, the neat thing about this piece is where it's from. Many of you are quite familiar with the Colorado Amazonites. They are, probably the world's finest deposits of Amazonite come from Colorado, whether it be, Lake George area, Pikes Peak area, wow. Whatever was going on with the geology of Colorado, it sure got itself together to come put those two together. Beautiful dark smokies. Here's the thing, though. Most all of the big, beautiful crystal clusters, due to the tectonic activity over time since the crystals had formed in their pockets, the dirt has collapsed, and they've collapsed in upon themselves. So some of the, like the Prospector show you saw on TV that ran for years in Colorado on aquamarine and the feldspars of Lake George area, etc. They, some of those specimens found took many years of, they take pictures of them and then they reassemble them. And it's absolutely beautiful. And to imagine that those are, were together like that in the pocket is incredible. In the end, they're, to a purist, for them to still be assembled has some effect on their, purity, their originality, their perfection. I don't know what you may want to call it. But they're rebuilt. They're glued together. And it's necessary. So, but there are some that have been found that haven't needed that. And it does make a difference in value. At least it should make a difference in value. So, out of the many different deposits in Colorado of it, there hasn't been too many other minerals outside of some of the basics that have been found with it. Amazonite can come in a range of different colors. And from blue-greens, light blue, deep, intense blue, it's really a myriad. But some of the consistents are, a lot of them will have iron or limestone that is near or present, that will create and give it some of these darkened areas, especially in some of the fissure lines. And that's, really completely acceptable in the majority of the crystals that you find. You'll get those same type of formations. Now, the color in this material is thought to be caused by lead, of all things, lead oxide. And in some other cases, it's thought to be iron. So, but lead seems to be the more common occurrence for creating that color. This is kind of unusual because of the matrix. The matrix, and now if you catch the light across here, you can actually see a difference in the polish, and that's when you know there's a difference in the hardness. So in looking at this closer and in looking at some of the other minerals found in that area, goethite again comes up, which is of course an iron oxide, and as one of the items that most likely contributes to this dark nature. It's goethite in silica, but you can see if we catch the light on this without it being too bright. There we go, Dave. You can see that the amsonite, how clean and brighter the polish is. When you get to here, see how much more porous it is? But there's something else unique I saw. And Dave, you may have to iris down for us to pick up on this. And I kind of, whoever gets this, put a challenge out because I couldn't completely discern what this is. And that's something you don't always or commonly hear from me and say something I don't know what something is. You're going to see a reflection coming along this line of what looks like little silvery metallic, well, there's one right there. You can see it right there. If I only had a third hand. So you see the two reflections of light. The left reflection, let me see, yep, it's there too. So the left reflection just to the left of it, you see that? That is a piece of what I can discern of metal. It really looks like it, and it's silver colored. And if we go along this same line, it's dotted with those same type of reflections. See those? See them all? They look kind of whitish. There's a whole cluster of them right there. There's a whole bunch of them. And I took a sharp metal point across them, and it's not like they're mica. It's not like they're little flakes of mica, which I thought they could be. See, there's a whole bunch of them right there. And see, you can see, okay, now I can get my pointer. Now you know what you're looking for. These are the... they're not the porous holes, they're filled. And so there's one, And as we come down along here, I say this because I'm putting a challenge out to whoever gets this piece. There's the bigger one we were looking at. There's one right there. And that might have been the one I actually tried to etch. And going across here, there's one. So there's a bar of them. So anyway, I'm kind of curious as to what those are. And it could be just some type of metallic ore. Horses, very popular. Here is another hole drilled all the way through, but we know feldspar is a good, stable, hard material. It can take being drilled fairly easily. And what a wonderful, wonderful piece. I seldom have ever seen any carvings coming out of Colorado using amsonite. Anybody into equestrian sports, what a wonderful, wonderful piece this would make. You don't even have to use it as a piece of jewelry. It could be converted and used in so many other different ways. This is from the Crystal Peak deposits and is a really classy piece of a one-of-a-kind nature. I got this along with some of the other items, and it had to have been at least 10 years ago. So we're talking about, I've had it a long time. All right, I have a wonderful, wonderful price on this for what it is, especially. So how would you like, anybody want that one for only, you're not gonna believe it, $48, only $48. Okay, so think about that. Grab it while you can. All right, I have something cool coming up. It'll take me a moment. I'll be right back. Okay, what can I say? Multi-generational growth is what we have here, and I'm going to show you that in a moment. This is amazing calcite. All right, when you see that, it's amazing when you see like one dimension, okay, flat. It's kind of like a painting. You know, painters who can achieve 3 dimensions on a one-dimensional piece of canvas, that's impressive to me. You know, when you take this and turn it to the side, look at that. It kind of changes the whole feel of it. And yeah, look at that. Now, those are scalenahedrons, the crystal name for what we know of as a dogtooth calcite. So let's go in on that particular crystal there, which it looks like it's probably a natural occurrence that caused it, yeah, especially that one too. So something happened that, you know, broke off a piece of the crystal, but it gives us a really excellent opportunity to look into this. Look at the reflection of the tweezers even. That tells you right there that there has been a layer of calcite that has actually grown over this. Now, if you look at this, it's almost like rings of a tree. You can see multiple kind of other stepped growths. And then, of course, on the very outside, you have this other growth. So what I've noticed, you see these, it's kind of like a skeletal formation on the exterior of these crystals. Like right here, you can see that the stepped growth on those. That's that final layer of clear calcite that seems to have formed over the top of these, giving the areas exposed a shiny look. Let's go in close on this one and you can see exactly what I'm talking about, because look at the center of this. Look at the center, that there isn't any shiny part to it. So how or along what step that occurred, I'm not sure. But the rest, yeah, was able to get that final wash and wax, it seems. Here's the other neat thing by when I say multi-generational growth. Look at this. Here is a other calcite crystals. And when they're real easy to spot once you start seeing them. Look at these. See these? They're everywhere. Look at down in between the calcites. You have all these other additional little scalenahedrons. Look at these back here. Down there. This is, so what happens is you have calcites that grow, you have more calcite at some other point coming, it adds another layer. You know, at some point, this cluster thinks it's all done, and then what happens? More calcite comes in, and then look down in here close. You have an entire cluster of calcite crystals, and let's give them a little closer look right there, and there we go, perfect. Look at that. And this is why magnification is so important. It allows you to see detail. And all that, look at those clear calcites. I hadn't spotted those before, tucked away down in there. And this is why a specimen like this, you can end up taking hours. Look at those. And is it all calcite? I don't know. Why can't it easily be any number of other minerals? Quartz, certainly suspect. Let me do something here. Try, look, there we go. Thank you, sir. And let's give you one more little tour. Let's look up over here in this area. Not sure what's there, but let's look a little closer. And that is what makes it so fun, is when you can have all the time in the world and explore your specimen. It's just not a one and done, take a look, put it on the shelf. No, this is the fun. The fun is in discovering what other minerals might be involved with the specimen. Look at that, the specimen you bought. that you never really saw with just your look at hidden back in there. Oh, isn't that the prettiest little cluster of calcites, I believe? You know, this is where you get out your ultraviolet light. You see if anything triggers from that. The big calcites, that just what gets your attention to start with. Look at the clear calcites down in there. It is everything else is what keeps you mesmerized. All right, one more look for me, because I think I'm looking for me as much as I am for you. Anyway, too much fun. I will let you have the rest of the fun on this. There is a lot more calcite. Those of you with a saw, you could easily, it's very stable and solid. You could saw off pieces of this if you want. Give you an idea, I don't know. See, it's things like this. See this big kind of rhombohedral shape? Never know what that actually is. It could be another crystal of some type. All this formed around it. Here's a whole bunch of other crystalline area. Could there be a void in there and a pocket with other material? Absolutely. And look at, that is the way it naturally, look at that angle, how perfect, rests. Perfect display, no other stand needed. And price on this, only $77. $77. Chihuahua, Mexico, an area well known for its world famous all kinds of things, but certainly calcites indeed also. All right, now let me show you. We're gonna keep it mixed up and keep it moving. I have next item 110-3723. 110-3723, and let me get out. Here we go. And clean this up a little bit. Okay. Now, how about this? How about this? Here's a parcel for you. Look at these amethysts. And these are all, what do they say, matched and mated or something like that? Well, they all came out of a one piece of jewelry. Look at the cutting on these. 16 stones, princess cut, and it's the real deal. It's genuine amethyst. Genuine amethyst. I can't imagine how long that took that many to cut that many, especially matched in size. So anyway, nice clean goods. Here, you see that zoning in that particular one? That's how you know right there. That's what you look for. I have a great amethyst educational moment I'm going to give to you at some point, not today, but when I get a chance. We're going to compare synthetics against naturals and some things to look for. But that's one of the main things right there you want to be in your amethyst when you see colors split zoning like that. Then you know you have the real deal. Okay, how about this? The entire parcel, you're not going to believe it. This is what you call a sale price. 8.80 carat, making it only $24. $24 on that one. Let's see, let me count the stones. 4, 6, I just wanted to make sure. 8, 11, and 3, 14. Yeah, so if we could just change that to 14 stones, please. Oh, I'm sorry, Asif, 15. That's what I thought. I thought there was only one different. $24. So basically, 15 stones, that is like $1.50 a stone. Wow. Okay, next, I have one of my favorite of the Pakistani 4. We are looking at item number 112-5423. 112-5423. And here is another jewel that, I don't know, I think a lot of people must have been out of town this week's show, because so many excellent values were left on the table. But hey, things wind up where they're supposed to be in the end, is how I see it. So even if I end up having to sell things a little bit less than what I was planning on it, it gives some of you an opportunity you wouldn't have had otherwise, maybe to get a really, really good deal, even beyond my really, really good deal. Look at this. This is a thumbnail. World class, though, really. Extremely high quality. Where are you going to find sphene like that? Where are you going to find a sphene specimen? One of the most valuable colors in sphene. And here's the thing. This is another one of those pieces that you can look at this for a long time, because so much is going on inside here. I just noticed something I don't know if I really noticed before. Look at this particular crystal. This right here. Look at the chlorite. So this crystal is covered in chlorite, it appears like. You have calcites, you have the little fine is clinochlor, the little fine small crystals, and you have muscovite mica. Muscovite mica. Wow. I just want to look for one moment here a little closer at some of the formations and look at down in the look at that. That is so beautiful. Look at back in there. Yeah, I think there's more going on than meets the eye, than what I've even discovered by way of the different minerals. I think there's a couple extras in there. From this area, there are some really rare minerals that have been found. And let me go to that. Look at those fiends. They're facet grade quality, just small. Where was that green chlorite? There we go. Look at that one. What is that? So that looks like a calcite crystal covered in chlorite. I don't know, but it's really cool. Last chance, because I'm going to keep this one. If this doesn't sell this time around, then I don't know how it's still here. But again, maybe whoever gets it is the person it was meant to have it at the very beginning. Titanite is what sphene is often known as, more so than sphene, actually. It's a calcium titanium silicate, and it has an adamantine, which means diamond-like luster. And yeah, this is in 1 inch. There's a lot going on, and at a price that it will, wow, okay, $48 there, $48. It won't ever be less than that, and shouldn't even be the 48. But again, I said that this is Thanksgiving week. This is, if you're going to have some sale items, this is the time to have them. I'm also going to tell you, look forward to the Cyber Monday show. Yes, thanks to Asif putting his team together. Instead of not having a show for you for the Monday after Thanksgiving, we're going to record one the Tuesday before Thanksgiving. And you're going to have to just wait on pins and needles to see what I have coming for you for Cyber Monday. I thought what a perfect day to bring out some goodies for you because, you know, technically this show is, you know, podcast, it's in the cyber world kind of thing. So I'm not going to disappoint you. We have to have a show for that day for you. Don't miss it. Don't miss it. Let me toss out some more goodies here. 1002321. 1002321. And here, let me just put those in here real quick. I was gonna almost show them to you through the bag, but you know, no emerald is deserving of that, right? Should, as one of the three kings of the gem world, should have be treated a little bit kinder than that. All right, look at this. Four emeralds. You have kind of a mix of colors here. It's those emerald cuts. Well, look at that. 2.15 carat total weight. 4 stones, faceted gem parcel, and a deal. 4 stones. Ready? $8. $8. That ought to get your attention going, if it wasn't already. Next, I have item number 1143223. 1143223. Take a look at this. Okay, so again, Miss Gabby notating that she was enjoying seeing some of the different pendants. Well, here is another set. I have 2 collections of these, so I'm going to show another collection of them if I can find them. Yep, in a moment, and they're going to be the same price. So, yep, this is item number 1143223. And look at these. They're all drilled, and you can either just put a straight bail on them the way they are, ready to go, or those of you that know how to do those different wrappings where you can create a drop pendant looking somewhat like that. I've seen done for those of you that are clever like that. I am clever with wire. This can be done just strictly with wire, but strung like you're using thread kind of thing. I don't know. You ladies know what to do. But look at this. Either way, individually, you can also do drop earrings. Very simple with a kidney hook. 100 million year old. The real deal for fossils here. And oftentimes you can find fossils within fossils. This would be another neat thing to put a loop to. Okay, all 3 pieces for $21. Only $21 for all 3 of those. I guess there is a slightly different price. So 21 on those. Let's look at item number 1143123. And so here's the only other parcel I have of them, and they are a little bit different. Let me not get them confused. I'll clean that in just a moment. All right, so this was the other one I thought would make a neat graduated size type of pendant, you know, or individually, or just put them in a stand and enjoy them for what they are. But you can also just simply hang them like a mobile. Look at the detail. That almost looks like they're painted on. Wow, fantastic. $18 for all three. $18 for all three. All right, let me clean up here for a moment, and I'll be right back. Oh, look at this. No, it's not the big one I'm pulled in from my yard and slowly getting it ready for you one of these days. But this, you might as well feel like you're walking back into, let's see, which cavern does it look like much? I don't know. I've been in a bunch of them, but look at this. When you start seeing what looks like stalagmites and stalactites, wow. This actually mined by my friend John. Yes, remember we were talking last week about the Tampa Bay coral? Well, the two most famous corals in the world for agatized corals are Tampa Bay and the Withlacoochee-Swanee River area. This is Withlacoochee, and they look so distinctly different. You can really tell when you have seen enough exactly how to spot the difference. In this case of the Withlacoochee, they look a lot more like actual coral. See, from the outside and from above even. So that's one of the ways. But look at that. Isn't that neat? Look at that beautiful. I had these in my aquariums, and I tell you what, the fish felt like they were right at home, and I didn't have to worry about keeping corals alive, which are difficult enough. Look at the druzy in here. As we come in closer, you can see that. Look at back in the cavern when we get the tourist trash out of the way. Oh, wow, look at that. Look at on the ceiling. If you've ever been back in caverns, that's really what the ceilings look like often. And isn't that neat? Look at the druzy quartz on that. Look at those walls. Look at how detailed. There's, something to look at everywhere. And to think that this was a living coral 25 to 38 million years ago. And, when Florida was all underwater before the seas receded as the water got locked up in the poles, and then, of course, sand built up over on top of what became the islands of coral. That silica from the sand eventually and slowly replacing the coral with silica. And millions of years later, this is what you have. Here is a fantastic specimen for $28. $28. My friend John actually had special permits only for him, grandfathered in for him, to where he actually mined. He's passed away since then, but he was the king of the river for finding that material. He just absolutely loved doing what he did. He'd saw them and polish them and all, and offer them at such a good value. And that's the only reason I can offer them for the value I am right now to you. Let me show you. 114 2923. What I'm getting ready to show you is a treat, and allows someone that may not normally be able to afford this specimen be able to add it to their collection. We've talked about, even mentioned it today already, lepidolite. Look at this. This is that really rare yellow lepidolite that was only found not too many years ago in Itinga, Brazil. And lepidolite is mostly a lithium mica, leading to it being lavender or purple in many cases, and solid to where it could be carved. This is a fine example of yellow material with quartz. Look at that. Just like when you look at muscovite mica associated with quartz and blended in together, it's attractive, but you have the color of mica with the color of quartz. So take that mica and make it yellow against the background of quartz, and what striking contrast. Some wonderful crystallization here. And I don't know, that's just, as a living in the South, living in Georgia for so many years, we see lots of mica, but we do not see yellow mica. That is a treat. anyway, this material, when it came out, and still, the bigger specimens, big money. A lot of people out of their budget for the range of what they would cost. Because I want everyone to be able to enjoy rocks and minerals like I did, even when I couldn't afford them. I had other people that helped me out. Well, that's what I feel like I want to do for everyone else. And in the normal world, if this was muscovite and quartz, $21 might sound like a lot, but in the world of yellow lepidolite, $21 is a deal. Only $21 on that. And that allows someone to add a beautiful, beautiful color and a rare specimen of lepidolite to their collection without breaking the piggy bank. I have more sale items. 113-8123. 113-8123. Take a look. Here is an opportunity to get in on some emerald crystals. And let me just kind of quickly really show you that, see this exterior? Often, beauty is only skin deep, and sometimes ugliness is only skin deep. Get past that surface and boom, no telling what kind of quality you're going to have on the inside. And that's what, the exterior is oxidation. It often is, mica. Look at that. Look at that. There's 3 crystals together like that. But when the reality of things are, look at that. I mean, if you go to carving something like that, how cool would that be? That's almost like a yellowish green beryl. Thank you, sir. So here's a fun chance. Look at that crystal even. So anyway, here, all of these, sale price. What is there? 6 pieces. Let's make it $12. $12. That's $2 a crystal. At $2 a crystal, you can tumble them, or you can practice carving them, and all kinds of other fun things. Now, going to the next item. I have item number 113-8523. This was another shocker that I was quite surprised that no one took me up on it. But again, right item, right time, right place. Look at this. Cavensite. That's my probably one of my favorite mineral names, because it gives me all the information that I like, which is mostly the chemical formula. Calcium, vanadium, and silicon. Cavensite. What a name. What's in a name? Sometimes everything you need to know. And in this case, it's certainly it. It's whole makeup. Look at that. Look at that. Now, there's something about this I want to show you, because this is how I often see, like on the cover of a magazine or, Mindat photos, they'll take a small area of crystals and they'll, have a good camera. They'll just magnify it up, and you think you're looking at a 4-inch long copper-bearing tourmaline crystal of magnificent clarity and color, and all you're looking at is about a 2 millimeter spot of what might be something as simple as cavensite. Look at, there we go. There we go. Dave's giving us that look. Look at those crystals. And, that's the beauty that of the mineral world, is these crystals are beautiful when they're large, and they're beautiful when they're small. When they're small, just get something to make them look large so you can magnify them. Now let me catch an angle from the side, because it's really worth looking at, because the clarity on some of these are well, they're like what would be facet grade clarity. And the color, I've only seen like copper sulfate crystals this color, you know, the ones you can grow yourself. And they're a lot of fun to do, but in the end, it's still a man-made grown crystal. But it teaches you a lot. Teaches you a lot. Let me try one more thing here, and there we go. That's the angle I wanted. There's the crystal off the side to the left there. Look at that beauty. Ah, there. That's the magic button I like. Look at those. Now that's a crystal. Now what a wonderful color. Great stuff. So, you know, that's where at home you can have so much fun. So this is on a bed of stilbites. Look at all those. With a couple other little cabin sites growing around there. And selenite, so there must be some, these are probably Gennardite little bugs there. And selenite we know is green. There must be some in here somewhere. I see some reflections there as well. Oh, also, this is the one. This has other darker crystals on it that I couldn't completely determine what they were. So this would be another fun one for those of you that want to. Look at that one down in there. Look at that cabin site down tucked away. I missed that the first time. To do some exploring and see if you can figure out what other items are. I love to do that. I just don't always have the time. And then if I spend all that time doing that, I don't want to sell the specimen. It's like, well, gee, that has, you know, such and such rare item. I want to keep it. So I'll let you do the exploring. All right, I have a really good value on this. I am going to give this a big discount. And the thing that these individual clusters set aside like that, I think are really attractive in these. And you can see it has a really nice height to them as well. So how about, I'm going to do it. $48. Only $48 on that. I think that's probably me losing my mind price-wise, but there wasn't much left to it anyway. So now, let's look at 113-5823. And what I'm getting ready to show you now, I'm not going to take out of the gem tube because it would be too difficult to put back. So wait 1 second, let me wipe this off before the guys fuss at me. And put that right there. Look at that. Look at the cutting of those. 9.96 carat in 9 stones. So that is, you know, roughly a carat 10 each. And I wouldn't even really know how to cut them like that. That is something that would take a lot of time and something that you can't really compete with time that it would take in this country. So yeah, can't get them like that by me for what I'm going to offer these for. Look at that. Look at that. Peridot, all natural stones. Look at the garnet. Look at the color in that garnet. Wow, that is a strong red. That looks like a red pie rope. If it is, I want it back. Anyway, 9 stones. Here is the opportunity, which is, how about only $21? $21. 10 carats, roughly. So that's like $2 a carat. Really? Yep. Value. So I am letting you save up some of your money for the Monday show, or for the items in last week's show. So far, what I've seen, I think that Sweet Home rhodochrosite is specimen is still available, and that was not a lot of money. So if you thought that someone might have already gotten it, as of a day or so ago, it was still available. So see if you want it, get it before someone else does, because there won't be another one of those either. Now, if you, since we were just speaking about garnet a moment ago, if you do not have one of what I'm getting ready to show you yet, well, here is your chance. And it's a big one. 112 7923. Yep, 112 7923. Here is one of the most, if not the most desirable, most valuable, rarest, and add a few more adjectives to Japanese rainbow garnet. And yes, sir. That number on this beauty is only 112 7923. Look at this, and it's a 7 carat. 7 carat in this is huge. Is huge. And let me show you the faces on this. Wow. First, that's like the back of that is like where it would have been attached to the matrix cluster. Okay, just start looking at some of those reflections that you see. And that's not even on the polished faces. Look at that. Look at that. And what I mean by polished faces, Mother Nature polished faces. Look at the other rainbow coming down that. My goodness. Every little different angle. Wow, look at. Oh, and look at, there's even a phantom type of formation. You see that other color growth right at the edge. Let's see if we can get a look at this. I tell you what, something. Look at those colors there. Oh, that is true iridescence. True rainbows coming out of that. Look at the colors in this. This is a huge crystal in this type of material. You know what? This thing's spinning around. It's throwing me off. There we go. Now, look at that. Okay, so there's the multicolor edge. Here is a copper brass. That has to be one of my favorite looks right there along there. But we still haven't seen them all, because just the slightest change in angle can really change the color. I have still a few left, and I have sold to all of you some of the faceted ones. And if you have it and you do facet, yes, you can actually facet these. Take one, something that's not like a really well-formed crystal. This one would actually be a really good one to facet. It has a lot of different faces that have iridescence. Look at the green on that face. This would be, and it's not like if it was a really super well formed crystal, like a dodecahedron or something, and I would say no, don't touch it. Look at the colors in that one. But this would be considered, plus it's large enough, it would be worth it. You would end up with a really nice size finished cut stone. And if I keep talking like that, I'm going to take it back home as my birthstone. And cut one out of it myself because I've been, look at the blue in that, looking for a stone to work with. And if none of you take advantage of it, then this would actually be, as I'm in my head computing the shape of the piece right now. And that's why you see the ones I had that were faceted, they had unusual shapes. They weren't just your standard shape. Look at the colors. Anyway, compare this price and size stone to anything else that you might find on the web. And then you will have wished that you grabbed this one and however many others you could have along the way. I have, even though I am going to sale price this, which is silly enough because I by far have been giving these away. I'm going to make this one only $77. Only $77 for exactly a 7 carat. Oh, look at this. That is a 10.5 by 7 millimeter. Well, it is very auspicious to me. So those of you that have 7 for a lucky number, another reason to get in on this guy. Wow, indeed. Okay, now let's keep moving here. You know, problem is when I added stuff and then I mixed it around and I can't find everything new that I added. But remember, whatever I missed this week, you're going to get to see it because you're going to have to get to see a Monday show, and that's pretty cool. Okay, here, let me show you 113-1823. I'm not going to take these out. It takes too much time, but you have seen them out and loose before. This is your opportunity to get in on a parcel of diamonds. And look at how beautiful these are. So this is in a suspension box, so you get to see them really well, actually, this way. Better in a lot of ways than on a tray. Let me show them against the white, though, so you do get an idea of the color. So they have, in the world of, by way of diamonds, just a little tint of color. All right, so, you know, fine white, it would be, they'd be disappearing. But I'm showing to you at an angle. You see how I did that at an angle? Because that's the way you're supposed to look at diamonds, is through their side. So that kind of gives you that same type of look. If you look at them straight up and down, that color becomes much less visible. And when you go and set this color diamond in yellow gold, then it becomes even much less noticeable by way of the color. So I have a sale price on these guys for you. Yeah, and it's ridiculous for what for a carat 30 in diamonds like that. They were, you know, at an amazing deal. I had offered these. The clarity is what's mind-blowing. VS to SI. So the clarity alone makes it well worth it. Those are bright, nicely cut stones. All right, at $100 a carat, they were $130. Let's do this. How about a definitely Thanksgiving sale? And I'm just going. If I do them like that, that's really not. $115. $115 for that much. For that many diamonds. Wow, wow, wow. Now, so many different boxes of goodies here. Let's see what's in this one. Oh, you like that one. I can't believe no one wanted my one of my last Russian golden barrels there. That's kind of surprising. But just letting you know that I have it. Here's another thing. I want to show this. Item number 1116523. What I am offering this super high quality switch plate for is less than what you would have to pay for any rough of this quality that you would find. Look at this. Now, this also will work for an American switch. You know, the dimmer switches that go up and down. Yeah. Look at the quality of this. Look at that. This switch plate is at least 10 years old. We were going to put them in our house. Then, I don't know, one thing or another we did. We also still have knobs that we're changing our cabinet knobs to jade knobs. But here's the bottom line. I wanted to show you the difference in quality between a piece like this, and you saw those jade freeform alluvial pieces that are from the same relatively, the Alaskan and British Columbia deposits are all basically within the same deposit. So here, just giving you an idea. All right, you see the far bright, the range of colors and qualities between the two. This is a really nice piece of jade, and you cut it into cabs and smaller, and you're going to get clarity, and it's going to look fantastic. Just as this would as well, until you put it next to something of gem quality. Then you get to see the value and what you get for the value and the difference. Now, this is perfectly flat. If you bought this and did nothing, look at how thick it is, but cut cabochones out of it, you would be working with some of the best quality material you could get, if you could even find it this nice in the rough. Here's the big thing. British Columbia and Alaskan jade is well known for its black inclusions, its dark inclusions. I see one there. Almost non-existent. Almost non-existent. So I think, again, I'm at the point where this will be the last time I offer this plate for sale, because after that, look at that. It's just not worth selling it for anything less. Look at that. Thank you, sir. So, and of course, you can always use it as a light switch. Okay. Price would only be, and it's crazy to even make it this low, but I said I would do sale pricing, and I'm doing it. $58. $58 on that. Wow. And again, like I said, you could not buy the quality rough that it would take to be able to even cut that piece, let alone polish it, and the time and effort. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. All right, let me show you. 107-8122. 107-8122. And we were talking about corals. We were talking about with Lakuchi corals. And I have come across a with Lakuchi piece. And if nothing else, that switch plate makes a beautiful rock display. It really does, actually. It's very dense and durable. Tough to get scratched. Look at this citrine color. Rare citrine color. Where have you seen it? And it's natural citrine color. And look at this. Okay, so you know that there is a difference in color. This shows you right here. You actually have a bicolor, I guess. As we look at this a little closer, look at that. And right here, look at that. That's like a bicolor citrine, which clear and white citrine does, of course, occur. Isn't that cool, actually? That's very cool. So here, just some nice, clear, white, regular quartz. And I love the bicolors, but wow. Wow. That is showy. Here's the outside. And again, remember what I said about Withlacoochee versus Tampa Bay. Withlacoochee corals are something that you might recognize as a coral. Tampa Bay is something that you would step on and start saying some ugly words about the rock you just stepped on. Because the Tampa Bay is so sharp. I unloaded burlap bags of that material when I was 13 years old for weeks and weeks after a shipment that we got in 1974 or so. And that's when Ballast Point in Tampa Bay was open. It's long since been extinct from there. See how sharp and pointy and you step on it and you go, ow. And how it doesn't look like anything from the outside. That's Tampa Bay. One of the ways you tell. Anyway, this is a very unique because of that yellow citrine color. I'm going to make this one sale priced at only $18. $18 for that. All right, give me 1 minute here, get a couple things out of the way. I'll be right back. Okay, now, to give you an idea, let's just start with size reference. Here's my hand. This is considered absolutely cabinet quality, cabinet size. This is a really unique beauty that deserves the attention that anyone needs to give it if you have a beautiful crystal collection. This is large. This has white apopholites. It has stilbites. It has quartz. And not sure where to start, but let's go right in on this face. And here is, of course, you know by now, your apopholites, they're whitish in color. They can form many different crystal habits. They can be in a squarish form. Let me get a pointer. They can be in a pyramidal form. They can look like a square right there, but when you actually see the terminations, they can be pointed on the ends. You can look at the stilbites. So you have these apopholites look at that, resting right on top of stilbites. You have a whole mix of look at these beautiful, wonderful clarity in the apopholites. See the little arrow points to them? Here's a bow tie stilbite. Now, there's a mirror stilbite. Do you see that? When it reflects and blinds you, then, all right, so you have your basalt base, stilbites in here, and as we come around, you see how this goes from all the way underneath. And this was just one particular angle I picked. There's multiple angles that can be shown on this piece, depending on which direction you turn it. Let me undo it. There we go. And as we keep coming around over here, look at these. They just look like little diamonds. And even back in there, remember, if it's a zeolite and you see one, there's a good chance there's more than one. Apopholite, stilbite, there could be lomentite, scolecite, oconite, gyrolite. And as we come up the specimen, look at how large. Okay, see that? Look at how large that one crystal is. These are big crystals. That's what you get with a big specimen like this. You can get larger size crystals. At least that's oftentimes the way it should work. And as you come all the way to the top, look at that. Look at that crown of still bites. And let me spin this now. Oh yeah, we're not done. Look at this entire side with a big apophyllite up there. Now let's go in close and show you what you're really looking at. Look at these. These are all crystals mingled with other crystals that you don't notice until you notice them. Look at that. These are quartz. Wonderful, wonderful quartz. But then look, you have apophylites mixed in. Look at this. See this? This is what look at that still bite. Look at that still bite right there, sitting there. It's really amazing how things like this will form, and then you'll get a still bite just stuck in the middle of no place else. I mean, what's going on in that pocket with all the different elements at Mother Nature's disposal to create whatever recipe she wants using a combination of them. Now, look at this. What do we have here? It looks hexagonal, but then looking at it from another angle, I see more. Look at that cube. Look at that cube. Isn't that neat? Wow. This is huge. It is stunning, and it is can be displayed standing up like I had it, or look at this angle, and it's really stable there, or you can make it like that. I mean, it is one of those pieces that you can move around, change around the angle, and you can get a completely different look. And some of them might think you have a completely different specimen. I have a sale price on this piece that I shouldn't do, because what it took I got these, in that same batch all those years ago, and what I could get for this now in a market situation like a show far exceeds the situation that I'm offering these for now. But you guys are family, and family means you get the family discount. My dad used to say family discount was twice the price, but that was hardly the case. No, family discount meant I lost a lot of money. But all you guys supporting me all these years, pretty much longer than family. So I have for you a out of this world opportunity, and if you don't take advantage of this, I mean, this is worth busting the piggy bank for. What I'm getting ready to tell you on this. Let me look at one thing here, because I know once it's gone, it's gone. And okay, here we go. Huge discount. Ready, set, $288. $288. Look at that. Look at that. Yeah. That's a beauty. That is a beauty. Now, never get to these items behind me, but I will get to, this one. I can't believe I have this one. Brad, you love zeolites so much. This one I am going to, it's going to be a beautiful, affordable opportunity. This is item 113-7723. 113-7723. And this is really like no other. Out of all those different specimens of zeolites I got, very few did I get that were like this, were the green. The wonderful, wonderful green gyrolites. This has prehnite, apophyllite, lomentite, and quartz. Now, that's a whole lot going on. Look at these. Here we have your apophyllites. Of course, you have the green gyrolites. Look at the color difference. Here are your prehnites, okay? So your prehnites can look similar to the gyrolites, but they're going to be a more translucent versus the opaque. Look at, see, it's only when you start looking close and you start noticing that you have these incredible clear crystals. Let me turn this on its side. Just tucked in and around. Look at that one. Look at the clarity. Look at the size of these. And then here's your lomentite. Your lomentites. Look at the size. Look at how big that one is for apophyllite. Your lomentites will have often just a diagonal termination. I mean, this here, like this. See that diagonal cut right across there? That's what the end of a lot of the lomentites will look like. Look at these. Okay, here is another perfect example of a prehnite. Here's what your prehnites look like on this one. Wow, look at that. This is a beautifully rare color. And wow, there is a lot of mineralogy. Let's look up right up here one moment. Because, oh, there's some beautiful prehnites right here. And then, see these? There is, look at that, apophyllite. Here we go. Here is some well-defined lomentites. Ah, look at those. So, if I offered that specimen to you in that one-of-a-kind color, what I am getting ready to do on this is a huge, huge deal. I am going to discount that and make that available if anyone interested. This is from the Malad quarry, by the way. The Malad quarry is real important. That is the quarry that monstrous one I showed last week is from. The Malad quarry is from the Mumbai suburban district. It is closed. They built housing right up to the edge of the quarry. It was far too dangerous, and that quarry has been closed, and there will be no more. And many of these specimens only have the combinations of items on them that they have because of being from that quarry. So one-of-a-kind kind of opportunity. And yeah, so how about this? I am going to deeply discount this one. If you want to take advantage of it, I am making this guy only... I hate to even do this because it's such a good value. $118. $118. Now that is a sale price. All right, we have a couple minutes left with you. And that brings me to a couple more shocking items that I have available, and that is item 113-4823. Look at this. Now, yep, 113-4823. Here, I cannot believe it. You know, all these items I showed the same week. So I'm not sure if maybe you guys missed the show, I don't know. But when something like this is still left, look at that. Look at that. Look at the crystal in this cabochon. Look at how perfectly terminated that is and how crystalline the shape is. Look at the pyrite. This is Graves Mountain. This is one of the highest quality cabochons that you can expect to even get from that area when it's that color and that well formed in a crystalline shape. Goodness gracious. 113-4823. Cut this from a piece of rock quite some time ago. 20 by 15. It's calibrated. It's 10.50 carats. So it's even a cut by Shawn. Why should I? It was only $58. What? That's like $5 a carat. Really? This is the last time. After this, I am keeping this guy. Let's make it only $48. That will be, the final price on that. My goodness. Look how pretty that is. That just stands out so lovely. Just look at there. I'll be cute for a moment. And tuck it right there where I grab something else really quickly. No, actually, I don't want to confuse anybody. So we'll put that right there. Let's see. Move this right here. Move this to here. And maybe I'll get a one moment to show you one more item here. And oh, yes. Here we go. Item number 114-3323. 114-3323. You haven't seen this jewel before. This is stunning. Out of those incredible, these I got 10 or 12 years ago. Charoite. Look at this charoite. Now, these came from what is known as the type locality. It is where the Chara River and the Toko River, the confluence of the two. And that's where it's got its name from the name of that river, Russian charoite. Now, this is drilled, so it makes it easy to convert into a pendant. It has agarine and quartz. Look at these beautiful quartz, basically crystals. As we come in closer on these, you can see the well-defined crystalline shape to them. And as I rotate this is, look at the fibrous nature to the charoite. Look at the movement. It's kind of like almost some of the beautiful clinochlores and some of the other fibrous type of minerals that will give you that type of movement. Look at those. And then here's the agarine crystals, those black crystals. This is look, see that? Look at that movement. Kind of like petersite does as well, if you're familiar with petersite. Drilled, big, a beautiful color, and I'm not even sure what other material is coming out of that area now, because this was quite some time ago. And remember, it's Russian. So obviously, very little. And I don't know, now's probably the wrong time for me to even be offering these. But this guy, only $88. Only $88 on that one. And that is, again, another one of those specimens, another one of those beautiful gemstones, I should say. It's ready to go to do something with, or just display it like I have it right there. All right, let me show you the last item of the show. It is 113-6023. And this one, I won't even take them out of the bag. Let me just, well, maybe I will, because it won't take but a moment when I use the right tray. Here's an entire parcel of tourmaline. Look at this entire parcel of tourmaline. Now, for those of you that are cutters, you might, pardon?
What's the number again?
Yep, that is 113 60 23. 60. For those of you that cut stones, you might, look at that, you might find a lot of fun in recutting some of these if you so choose. But why? Look at that. Look at that tourmaline made as a pendant. Look at the clarity of some of these. Look at the blue. That looks like even a copper bearing type of blue. Natural colors, this entire parcel. Look at that. Yeah, this was all that same weekend. I am not sure where all of you were, but a lot of you really missed out. Look at that. I hope you don't, doesn't happen again, because I'm making that entire batch. Everything you see. Okay, why not? $44. That's $2 a carat. $44. With that, that's the last item of the show. We'll be back with trivia. So, show always ends before I'm ready for it to end, and I'm sure yourself. Now, there was so much I tried to get into this show that there's leftover. So, I want to show you, just to give you an example of, you know those amsonites a while back, since we were talking about amsonite today, right? I only showed a couple of crystals. I think you bought them all. Well, I want to show you what I really have available. This is from the 2013, summer 2013, 2012, the KAG claim, the Blue Owl Pocket. Yeah, you haven't even seen a fraction of what I had by way of amsonite. Look at these. See the size of these? And the color is actually a wonderful blue. A lot of them will have smoky quartz. You can see the large sizes to these, and some of the wonderful crystal shapes to them also. Look at this. Yeah, look at that tucked down in there. Then I have small pieces, of course, as well. Some, you know, some really fine color, really nice crystalline shape. Look at that. So, you know, point being made that you might see one or two of what is only the tip of an iceberg at times. And if you are, you know, some of these aren't going to be a few dollars, but some of these, you know, by way of in the world of amsonite, is going to be way less expensive than what the people that are mining this material think that it's worth. And rightfully so, some great stuff here. But I have this at a price from a long time ago. You're talking about now 10, 11, 12 years ago. This material has gone up way up, but my prices haven't. If you're interested in some pieces, you know, that might be $200, $300, I'm not really sure, because I haven't even broken it out. I have put this up because you know what this is? This is a savings account. This material has only gone in one direction, and you know which direction that is. I wanted to show that to you to let you know that everything that you see isn't everything that you've seen. And help me out, because to inventory it, effort, time, maybe I could be doing something else, right? So send me a comment. Say, I'd like to see some of the best items that you of the amsonite, or I'd like to see, you know, some of the least expensive, or maybe I won't end up showing any at all. But I was just looking for a little bit of guidance. Now, to the trivia. What I have, we're doing something a little bit different today, and it's a part of the trivia when I've done it before that you've really enjoyed, and that is playing What Am I? Let's go to the magic tray of crystals. And what we have right here are 3 crystals. I can be completely comfortable that you know all three very well over the periods of time. So, what I want is for you to tell me, what am I and where am I from? Or as much of those, if you can only get one, that's fine. Just tell me what you know. So that one is going to be number 1. Look at this middle one. All these are the natural crystal shapes. Look at this one. Let me give you the full experience. This is crystal number 2. What am I and where am I from? And this is crystal 3. And it is, what am I and where am I from? A little different, huh? So good luck to all of you on that. I'm excited about putting together the show for you for Cyber Monday. And in the meantime, though, I hope you've enjoyed the show. I need, this Christmas, it's time for those 2 front teeth. And one will do right now. So I'm raising some money. And if my price points and pricing didn't show you how badly I needed it today, I mean, don't make me start, having to put some white tape across there or something. I do apologize. Things will get better. Love you all. I hope you have a great holiday season along the way. And happy Thanksgiving. Everyone, without a doubt, you can find a reason to be thankful for something. Some more than others, but no matter the case, help your neighbor, help your loved ones, help a friend, because in most times, just your own person, your own voice, your own time is a gift that fulfills most needs of what that person may want. It may not be nothing tangible. It may only be something that comes from your heart. I am very thankful for all of you. I'm very thankful for all my friends and family here at Gem Shopping. God bless. Take care. Have a fantastic holiday. And I will look forward to seeing you on Cyber Monday. Cheers.